All right, so at this point you should have done practice problems 1 through 6, and we are going to go ahead and take some more notes here in question 7. Okay, and we're going to do level 2, right? When you took notes in assignment 17, we called that level 1. Okay, and we're going to call this level 2. Okay, so let's see how level 2 is different. So let's say we have something like this. Okay, notice we still have a variable and it's in parentheses and it's being squared, right? So there's something about this that's being squared, okay, and it equals 49. So here's what we're going to do. When we see that something is squared, we do the opposite. We square root it. So in this case, everything inside these parentheses is being squared. And so I'm going to just take this, I'm going to square root, okay? And I'm going to do this for you, just so in your notes, watch. So here's the original equation, right? You're going to square root both sides, and I think it'll just be nice for you to just recopy this one step, so that way you can like see, like, oh, this was step 1, this was step 2. Okay, so now what I've done is I've square rooted both sides. Okay, now remember, the square root and the square, they cancel each other. They undo each other. They eliminate each other, however you want to think about it. So what's left over on the left side of the equation is the square root is gone, the square is gone, because they've canceled each other out. And so what's left is just x minus 4. Okay, now on the right side of the equation, what do I have? It's the square root of 49. Now, maybe you're stuck. It's fine. Look, here it is on your reference. It's plus or minus 7. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, that means it could be positive 7 over here, or it could be negative 7. So in this case, though, I don't have x by itself. So what I do here is I take this and I break it into 2 separate equations, okay, because there's 2 separate possibilities. One possibility is that x minus 4 equals negative 7. And the other possibility is that x minus 4 equals positive 7. And these are going to give me 2 different x values. So now I'm going to go ahead and solve my equation, right? I need to get x by itself. 4 is being subtracted, so I'm going to add 4. Negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. And here I'm going to add 4 again. And I get x equals 11. So here are my 2 answers, okay? Now, this is my lesser x, right? For the sake of Edge Elastic, that's my lesser x. And this one right here is my greater x. Okay, and I would put them in that way. And you can kind of go back and check, like, let's just do it really quick, right? Let's say x is negative 3. That's negative 3 minus 4. That's negative 7. And then I square it, I get 49. Perfect. Let's say x is 11. 11 minus 4, that's positive 7. Square it, 7 times 7 is 49. Cool. So my 2 answers are correct. And so I would put in x equals negative 3 and x equals 11 into Edge Elastic. I just want to address something you might feel confused about. You might think like, well, all this square rooting, that's stupid. I'm not going to do that. Look, I'm going to take this x minus 4 and I'm going to square it, right? And you might think to yourself, okay, I have x squared minus 4 squared, and then that 4 squared just becomes a 16, right? And then I go from there. Here's the thing. That's not right, okay? Remember, x minus 4 squared is this. So then x times x becomes x squared. It actually becomes this. It becomes way more complicated. So we are not expanding this. We are not doing that. We are trying to get rid of this by square rooting it. Okay, we will be expanding this later in the year, but for right now, we are not. We are just getting rid of the exponent by square rooting it. Okay, let's look at one more example. And again, it's kind of the same deal, right? We have something squared that's in parentheses. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to square root both sides. The square root and the squared, they cancel. So I'm left with 5x equals the square root of 100, right? Maybe you come up both off the top of your head. Maybe you reference, that's okay. But it's plus or minus 10. Whenever I square root a number, I get 2 answers. Whenever I square root a number, I get 2 answers. Okay, so this is, one possibility is that 5x equals negative 10. And one possibility is that 5x equals positive 10. And then either way, I need to get x by itself, so I divide by 5. I get x equals negative 2. Or x equals positive 2. Okay, and then just a note as you write your answers, you're always going to write the lesser answer and the greater answer, which was super simple when you had answers like this, where it's like, okay, this was the negative one is lesser, and then this one's the greater. But just remember that if, let's say you get two negative answers, right? Like this is lesser to greater. Like -8 is less than -4, which is less than 0, which is less than 3, which is less than 6. So just if you're like, oh crap, which one's which? Just this is a good reference, right? As the positive numbers are obviously larger than the negative numbers, and these like negative numbers that are like supposedly bigger numbers, right, are actually smaller. Okay, and that's it. You're going to go ahead and set up. We're going to squeeze question 8 and 9 on the bottom of this page, on the bottom of page 29. But then on page 30, let's go ahead and do 10, 11, and then leave yourself. You probably need like 5 lines. Set yourself up with questions 12 and 13. So you're about to do 6 practice problems, kind of like the examples we just did.